This is Errol Marks from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network here with a very special guy. I've been a big fan of Jerry Maguire, Leigh Steinberg. Leigh, what's up, buddy?
Just another wonderful convention of Americana.
I've been a huge fan of yours. I've followed you. I've always been interested in being a sports agent. And Jerry Maguire, it was a movie that really completely changed my view of being a sports agent. And I've seen, Tom Cruise really brought out the character. But, when you decided to be a part of something like this, how did you kind of draw it up this way? Did you pick Tom Cruise to be the actor to play you?
No. Cameron Crowe, the film director-writer, called me up in 1993 and said, "Can I follow you around? I want to pick up atmosphere and hear stories about the life of a sports agent." So we went to the NFL draft in 93 where Drew Bledsoe was the first pick, and then flew up to the press conference with Bill Parcells, and Cameron came with. We went to the league meetings out in Palm Desert. We went to Pro Scouting Day at SC. He came to a number of games with me. He spent time in my office. He came to my Super Bowl party. And I told him stories, lots and lots of stories. So we went off and wrote the script, and then my job was to vet the script to make sure the willing suspension of disbelief that holds you in a motion picture didn't get broken. And that's first. And second of all, I had to guarantee authenticity so you would think it's real. Then he gave me the actors to work with, like Cuba Gooding Jr. I took down to the Super Bowl in Phoenix. I made him pretend he was a wide receiver client. And Tom Cruise and some other folk. And I actually had to show Jerry O'Connell, who played the quarterback, how to throw a spiral because he had gone to NYU and they didn't have...
a football team. Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah.
So anyway, I stopped in the Dallas airport on the way out here, and somebody ran up and did the same thing people have been doing for almost 30 years, which is to yell, "Show me the money."
You know what it says? Jerry, say it. Show me the money. Yeah, Jerry, say it. Show me the money. Jerry, you better say it. Show me the money. That was a good movie.
Well, that
was a good movie.
That scene was shot out of our office window. So that's Newport Beach, California, we were looking at.
It's 30 years since that movie's come out now. And the big miss of, I thought, which was the impetus for how the rest of the story went, was, we need to have better relationships, family relationships between players and agents. And we're 30 years later. Do you think that's happened, or do you think it's still the same as it was?
I set up this concussion foundation a couple weeks ago to try to bring more research money into awareness prevention solution. And it's like, what you doing? I said, well, can't you define the role of being an agent as more than just putting dollars in the bank book? Can't you see long-term health as something that's really critical for you to talk about? Can't you see that being a role model is really important, having them retrace their roots? Can you not see that? Anyway, so I'm not sure. I know that the most important thing with my clients was to listen to them, was listening skills, to draw out their deepest anxieties and fears and greatest hopes and dreams so that at the end of the day, I would be able to put my head in their head and heart in their heart and see the world the way they see it.
I see the world in a completely different place. If you ever watched our show, you probably know what I'm talking about. I've worked with many, many different athletes, and a lot of athletes think I'm the crazy SOB. I'm the craziest person they've ever been around. And one of the reasons why is because I'm fair and I'm true to myself. And that's something that I've learned about sports. If you're not true to yourself, you're never going to be a real person, not just on a football field, but outside the football field. That's how you build sponsorships, advertisements. That's how you draw people to you and want to work with you. When you look at, obviously, the sports world for what it was when you were an important big head as an agent, and now when you see all these young agents trying to get into the business, trying to draw these guys to come to them because they're the new big thing, they're the guy that's going to get them the most money. What would you tell these agents for what you learned in the game to what it is now?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't trade places with any of them. I am representing Patrick Mahomes, and he is in the Super Bowl.
Right, right.
But the key is to have a well thought out philosophy and then understand it as a business. So many people get into representation athletes, they have no idea, they just recruit everybody, they end up going bankrupt. But what I learned how to do was profile the type of client who would be good for me. It was going to be a role model who would retrace his roots. It was going to be someone who's bright. It's going to be someone that would stand up and I'd be proud of. So you can profile the sort of person that you think you might help.
One of the things that I've learned about who I am is I watch all these broadcasters. I'm all over, and I see Radio Row, and no offense to them, I believe I'm the best in the business. I don't care what anybody tells me, from the Pat McAfee, and I love Pat, and I love all these guys. I look up to them just as much as if they knew me or they've respected me over the years for what I've done. I understand what it takes to get to the top. You just got to keep driving and driving and driving until you can't drive anymore. That's the same thing when it comes to sports. You can go and you can throw a football. You can throw a football 50, 60, 70 yards. But if you can't hit a man in the open field, you're never going to make the NFL.
Well, more importantly, in a way, is, and incidentally, when you said you were among the craziest, I went to Berkeley in the 60s. Now, you don't even register on the crazy meter.
Oh, I'm telling you,
you
if
haven't seen the half of it.
If you met me and you've seen what I've done on my show, you would probably listen. How many broadcasters would try to break a record because somebody told you they could, and a fan told you that you wouldn't be able to do it? And who would put Bengay on their genitals for 10 minutes to break a world record? Do you know anybody?
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
And then do a live show while I'm turning purple.
It was a very memorable show where numerous times we had to take over for the injured and afflicted host Errol Marks.
Oh my God! I only regret I have one pair of testicles to give for my.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. When you read what it says on Bengay, the two things they tell you not to do: don't put it in your mouth and don't put it on your testicles. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did something Bengay told me not to do. And listen.
Literally, it says don't do it.
It does. It literally says don't do it, and I did it. So for anybody to sit here and tell me that I'm fake and I'm not who I am who I am on a radio show. I am every single thing you want to know or what you want. And even if you don't know me, after you sit with me, you'll remember me because...
And then 25 years from now, instead of show me the money, they'll say show me the
genitals.
You know, the Guinness Book of World Records wanted him to do it a second time.
They're out of their minds. I will never do that again.
It was video. They should just watch it.
Never do it again. Dude, listen, I have beautiful tattoos. I love artwork on and everything that I put. This doesn't hurt me. Boy, oh boy, if I could tell you after 3 minutes what it was doing to me, it's like something from a comic book, okay? It felt like one of my nuts were going up my groin, and I was trying to find it. And then when I went to during the show, I took a shower. I got out of the shower. I had a towel around me doing a radio show, bare-chested, because I had to go back into the shower. I took 4 showers during a radio show until I felt like I was good enough to finish the show. And then after that, I was thinking about going to the hospital. I said, you know what? Somebody told me to dip my my testicles in oatmeal, and that's what I did. I wouldn't say it helped, but at least it gave me some kind of reassurance that I wasn't going to lose one. That's a whole nother story. But I respected you for so many years because I've known about you. I've always wanted to interview. I've always wanted to have a conversation with you, even off here, because of what you've done. You know, not only as a movie, a character in a movie, but who you are, who you've been the face of from so many good athletes that you've worked with, and what the market has really driven from all these sports agents. You are one that everybody will always remember. When you're here today and gone tomorrow, you'll always be remembered. Not because of the movie, is because of what you stand for and who you were in the business and who you are in the business, as where every agent wants to be you. So knowing that, what is it like being a role model?
I think the important thing is having an impact on other people. And so we do agent academies where we train young aspiring agents in how to recruit, how to negotiate, how to brand and market, how to do a charitable foundation, and listening skills that we talked about, drawing other people out. And we teach them, and I've done it about 35 times. We're trying to create the next generation of ethical, principled sports agents, but who have training and know core skills.
You're a communicator, and I know that with agents and everything, you can't communicate, you'll never be a good agent. And the same thing with radio. I think people forget, oh, well, let's ask the same questions like every broadcaster. But it makes it so much boring. You know, when you sit down and you're talking to somebody, you want them to understand that you're unique, you're different, and you'll be able to drive a conversation no matter what you talk about. You can talk about testicles, or you can talk about bunny rabbits screwing a dog. I mean, anything that you talk about, you want people to remember you. And I think that's with sports radio. People forget that it's entertainment. It's what you're driving. Just like what you're doing. When you're picking a client, like you said, you want somebody to be like you, somebody that is kind of, you don't detest when they're going out there and they're speaking to the press or the media. That maybe you have somebody that's going to sit there like Patrick Mahomes and say, listen, he knows he's the best, but he's not going to go out and say it. He's just going to go on the field and prove himself by doing it, by the way he plays the game. So that's what I look at. Everybody that I've spoken to over the years, and I've been doing this for a little while, I detest people that try to be something that they're not. So, and I think when they were telling me that Leigh's here and that we're going to get an interview with you, you're one of those guys that, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a sports agent. And then I was an athlete, I hurt my knee, and then I was like, you know what, I want to be a radio show host. I want to be the best one out there. I want people to remember me for who I am and what I stand for, and not feel like I'm some kind of fake person or a person that they dislike. Somebody like you, and even what you said to me right here of what you're looking for in a client, that's what I want to, inspire people and fans for what I do, because I want them to see the content I put out there, that it's not fake, it's genuine. And that's something that I respect about everybody in my business and in the business that you work in as far as an agent. Still to this day, I've talked to many agents and stuff like that, and I'm wondering, like, is this guy the good one? Is this guy a good one for me? Is that guy a good one for me? Because I'm unsure if they're going to do the right thing for me. And that's something that really stresses me out, because I just want to be the color. I just want to be the talent, and just let somebody else understand what I'm looking for in a business and what I'm trying to be in a business.
Talk to their clients. They'll tell you.
Yes, I know. I know. It's definitely frustrating when you talk to some of those agents. You're like, where's this conversation going? It really bothers me, because I'm lost in some of the conversations. And I've talked to some of the, big agencies. And they're like, yeah, we have a thought, or we like what you're doing, but we're not looking for that right now, or we are, but we want you to do something like this. I don't want to do something like that. I want to be me, and that's what's going to drive, personality, and that's what's when you watch radio, you know that you listen to sports radio, right?
I do.
And who's your favorite sports radio host?
I haven't heard you, but I've Colin Cowherd.
Colin Cowherd. Now, Colin's a great guy, and he loves to start rumors. See, when Colin Cowherd says something, I take it and I kind of flip it and I turn it on him and stuff like that. So I know you have to go. I'd love to talk to you off air. If there's any time that you have, I'd love to talk to you off air. I think you're a unique individual. I'm a big fan of yours, and I really appreciate the time. So,
thank you.
Leigh, thank you so much.
Leigh Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen.